Where exactly should I start the story from? These are film reels. If you were born anytime before the 2010s, you're probably familiar with them. These ones I'm holding contain negatives that were never developed. They belonged to my father. But I want to tell you how these film strips played a role in shaping the person that I am today. My father loved to take self-portraits, and by extension, he loved photography. He was a storyteller through and through. He really liked to document his life, and pictures were simply one of the ways he did that. In the early 2000s, realizing his love for photography, he bought a camera around the time I was born. He would take pictures of everything, badly framed, slightly blurry pictures, but they captured life as it happened. And because of that, my childhood was well documented. My earliest introduction to storytelling wasn't through movies or books, it was through those pictures. And I would stare at them for hours trying to figure out the stories behind each one of them. My life has always been filled with stories because I grew up with a father who made sure I knew how to tell them. I think my love for storytelling came from him. I have never been able to imagine myself doing anything else. But in the late 2000s, my father died in an accident and the regular everyday pictures stopped. The ones he had taken over the past few years got shoved into an old musty box. Year after year, my siblings and I would go through them and reminisce, but they always went back into the box. They got old and damp and started to dissipate. But the past year has taught me a lot about preserving memory. I spent the entire year trying to document Nigerian history, which I found to be very necessary work. It also meant that I spent the entire year realizing that it was my duty to preserve these pictures and everything my father was trying to document. And so December 2025, I went back home in search of these pictures, but I couldn't find all of them. Some of them had mysteriously disappeared and others had decayed completely. Why am I sharing this? Now that what's left of these pictures are in my possession, I have a couple of ideas on what I can do with them. Number one is a digital album. But I'm also curious if there are other ways that I can preserve the memories they hold, tell stories with them. Because to tell a story is to attempt to connect, to share something real about ourselves and others. And I think about what I intend to do with these pictures and how I intend to document my life and the lives of the people around me going forward. Because maybe one day someone will see or hear these stories and feel seen. Maybe the stories I tell with the pictures will help someone explore their own. The way my father's intense love for documentation has fueled mine.